Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collingwood for YouTube, Resident _of Collingwood for BitChute, and I'm here to do a video today entitled, Is Michael Myers Evil? You know, what I'll say to that is, yes, because there are layers of evil. Now, in my opinion, and I want to stress this, what I'm about to say is completely my opinion on the character. Think about where this starts off. This starts off with Michael Myers watching his sister and her boyfriend make out. He's watching him and he's watching him and he's watching him. And then eventually he goes into the house and gets a knife. And when he's coming through the house, he hears their voices upstairs. Now the boyfriend's coming back downstairs, and he's watching the boyfriend. Let me put it to you this way. Is he pure evil? Could he have killed the boyfriend? He could have killed the boyfriend, but here's where his evil is. I honestly think Michael Myers is the smartest serial killer ever. Because think about this. This is the 60s. Who's going to say a 6-year-old murdered his sister? Who's going to say that? Nobody. They're going to say someone else did it. Okay? Now, he's watching the boyfriend. The boyfriend is not paying attention to Michael Myers. Michael could murder him very easily. He could just go up and stab him in the stomach easily. He watches him leave. He lets him leave. Judith is now upstairs by herself. Here's somebody who watched someone else leave the house and is going to go upstairs and murder his sister, knowing that somebody else was in the house, knowing that somebody else left the house. You get what I'm saying? This son of a bitch knows exactly what he's doing and what he wants to do. Michael chose to kill Judith over killing the boyfriend and Judith. He made that conscious decision. This is why I say, in my opinion, I don't think Michael Myers is insane. Because, bro, if you were insane, if you had no sane bone in your body, bro, you're not going to make a conscious choice. You're just going to act. You're not going to hide from the boyfriend. You're going to go up and stab him, and then go up and stab her. Well, walk over and stab him, and then walk up and stab her. So to me, he makes the choice to let the boyfriend live. And then he walks up and stabs his sister. Now, mind you, he comes out, he has the knife in hand, he comes out, and his parents see the knife. And you could say, well, right there, that proves to them he did it. Listen to me, any defense lawyers, you know what they're going to argue? Well, of course he had the knife. He pulled it out of his sister who was in severe pain. Because her fucking boyfriend stabbed her. He's the son of a bitch. Any defense lawyer is going to argue that in court. And they probably did. Now, is that where Michael Myers' evil lies, in framing the boyfriend? Michael Myers' evil lies in the fact that everybody else thinks this son of a bitch is either crazy or insane, and he's not going to tell them any different. He's not here to convince you what he is or isn't. And no, he's not out to prove what he is or isn't. He's one thing, a killer, a murderer. But he chooses who he murders. Think about it, in Halloween 2018, he goes in and murders the old lady, but he doesn't murder the baby. He murders the cops on the bus, the guards, he murders the little boy and his dad, but he doesn't murder the mental patients. He's not murdering them. Again, Michael Myers chooses who he murders, in my opinion. Because it's like this. Think about Halloween 2, really. In that hospital, everybody dies but Laurie Strode. Well, and Jimmy, depending on how you view it. Jimmy slips on the blood. But think about all the way to the hospital. Michael only murders one person on his way to the hospital. Okay? Think of how many people Myers walks past. Think about how many people Michael Myers is walking past to go to this hospital. And the police are looking for a killer. They have not released a description of the killer in the original Halloween 2. Think about this. Now, he's calmly walking past each person not to draw attention to himself. Think about the kid with the boombox. He's listening to what's going on out in the world. And then he bumps into Michael Myers. And he doesn't panic. You know why? Because he doesn't know what Michael Myers looks like. They've never given a description. Do you see Michael flipping out and murdering the boy and murdering everybody around him to draw the attention to himself, to draw the cops upon himself? No, he doesn't. He calmly walks past everybody like he doesn't have a care in the world, because he doesn't. He doesn't need to worry about the cops. He doesn't need to worry about anybody else. But the one person he wants to get at, he now knows where she is. She's in the hospital. And there he goes there to handle Laurie Strode. Okay? The cops are looking for him. Dr. Loomis knows what he's wearing, but again, that information's not relayed to the public. And that's what, again, misinformation with Halloween 2, along with, if Michael's evil, if he's just insane again, he's going to murder all these other people in front of him who are literally walking the streets. He doesn't do that. He just walks through them quietly. He knows who he wants to kill. He picks and chooses. Because, bro, if he didn't pick and choose, and he were really crazy, if he were cuckoo, batshit, bro, all the people on the street would be dead. All the people on the street would be dead. They wouldn't be alive. He would murder them. He doesn't murder anybody in 2018 on the street. He doesn't grab somebody, even when they're shooting. Laurie Strode shoots at him. Laurie Strode, the only person Michael Myers murders, really from an open field standpoint, because even the podcasters are murdered in the bathroom, right? From an open field standpoint, is Allison's one friend, the boy who's walking home with her, and yet he's murdered in the backyard. He's not murdered out in the street. He's hung up on the fence. And the only reason she sees him is because she goes back. If she did not go back, she would not know her friend was murdered. Again, Myers is a cold, calculative bastard. That's what Myers really is. He knows all too well what he's going to do, and for the most part, he knows where he's going to do it. Now, for the backyard thing, I think that was just... I do think there's times where people are murdered because they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I'll give an example for Halloween 1. If Bob Sims was not there banging Linda, bro, Bob would not have been murdered. Because he's not going to go find Bob and murder him. Well, what does Bob look like, to Myers? It's like Annie's boyfriend, Paul. Does he go to Paul and butcher Paul? No. Again, he murders the people who were there in that house because he was stalking Annie, Linda, and Lori. So he murders the people in the house, and he tries to murder Laurie Strode. So, is Michael Myers evil? I think he's evil because he chooses who he murders. And, throughout the franchise, again, there's moments where Myers doesn't always... The most vicious I've seen Myers in the Halloween franchise was, outside of Halloween 4, was Halloween 5 and 6. But even with Halloween 5, what I love what they show with 5, they show him watching Tina. Bro, he's just watching him. He's not going out into the street and murdering people. Again, this is somebody who is, I've heard people say, well, he's insane. No, he's not. I'm sorry, he's not insane. If he were insane, if he were, again, batshit crazy, then he would be committing murder in open public. He wouldn't care. This is somebody who was the most cold, calculative son of a bitch. And that's what makes him evil. I think Myers' intelligence is where he gets the most underrated. Now, are they going to display that intelligence in Halloween Kills? I don't know. I think they've somewhat displayed it in 2018. And what I mean by that is, Myers knows to kick the back of the seat, right? Myers knows to kick the back of the seat. So again, to hit Sarte. So again, is Myers' intelligence going to be displayed in Halloween Kills? I don't know, but here's what I'll say. When Myers gets out of the house, if Michael Myers starts killing people wherever they are, stalking them and killing them, and then he goes and finds Laurie Strode, if he goes to the hospital, that's where I'm going to go, okay. He went to the hospital to go get her, to kill her. And again, I do think Myers picks and chooses. And again, in the original Halloween as well, Lonnie Elam. Bro, he could have killed Lonnie. When Lonnie runs into him, he just grabs Lonnie. He doesn't hurt him. He just grabs him. He could have killed him. Lonnie's friends aren't paying attention to him. No one else is paying attention to Lonnie. Lonnie could be dead. But again, killing Lonnie in public, if you kill Lonnie right then and there and you just leave his body there, that draws the cops' attention to him. And I think Myers is very well aware of that fact. I honestly do. I think Michael Myers is cold and calculated. Do I think he's crazy? No. Do I think he's pure evil? I think where his evil is in his cunningness and his intelligence. That's where I think his evil is. I think his evil is in the fact that he is the smartest son of a bitch ever. He literally knows what he's doing, and he knows who he's going to do it to. That's number 2. And number 3, for my final opinion, he knows how to get away with it. He knows how to get in and out of houses and move as quickly as he can and quietly as he can without running. This, again, now Myers can't frame anybody today because people know what he did. People know that he committed those murders in 78. And even if you went off the sequels, people know he committed those murders. You know, they know he murdered Judith in this. So, they know he murdered Laurie's friends. You know, so no matter what version you go off of, whether it's, you know, the Halloween, the original Halloween and the 2018 timeline now, or if it's the original timeline, you can't say, well, Myers is innocent. No, and no, I'm not trying to say that. And you can't say, you know, Myers is trying to frame people now. No, it would be too hard for him to frame people because everyone knows who he is now and knows what he did. But I think from the standpoint of the original, you could make the case that he was trying to frame Dr. Loomis. Think about it. How many people actually see Michael in the original? Let's see, Laurie and Tommy. That's it. And then Lindsay sees him. Well, okay. The only thing that could really save Loomis is the height difference. That's it. Because you don't know who's underneath that mask. Loomis knows. But again, is anybody believing Loomis that Myers is even in Haddonfield? Again, this is where believability is important because the sheriff does not believe Myers is in town. Even though, yes, the sheriff is humoring him and looking for him, but again, what does the sheriff say? There's nothing going on. Meaning that, no, you're wrong. He's trying to tell Loomis in the sense that, hey, I think you're wrong. I don't think he's here. But again, when the bodies start piling up, and if Myers would have gotten away with it, let's say Myers murders Laurie Strode, and let's say the kids live. Let's say hypothetically, you know, the only one left alive to say Myers committed the murders would be Dr. Loomis, who's not being believed. No one believes Myers is in town. The sheriff, the person you need to believe you is the sheriff. You know, and even the people at Smith's Grove don't believe Myers went to town. Again, this is where Dr. Loomis knew how evil Myers was. Because I think Dr. Loomis knew how smart Michael Myers was being. I think that's what really Dr. Loomis knew. And that's why Dr. Loomis saw the evil. He knew how smart this son of a bitch was and how cunning he was being. Honestly. That's where my opinion lies in this. And that's where I'm going to stand with it. If you don't agree, that's fine. That's just how I view it. That's how I view this. Loomis knew how smart Myers was being. Think about it. Here's this kid who sits in a room quietly for 15 years and doesn't say one word. He knows he's not talking. He knows what he is doing. I think he's all too aware. Do I think Loomis got wrapped up in the psyche of Michael Myers? I think so, but I think also too Loomis knew how smart he was though too. I do. I think Loomis knew how smart Myers was. Anybody, he breaks out of Smith's Grove. He doesn't break out in the original. He doesn't break out of a bus. He breaks out of the sanitarium itself. And in this 2018, the bus crashes. We know who caused the crash, don't we, Myers? So, again, I think Michael Myers is the most cold, calculative son of a bitch. And I think that's where his evil really is. It is in his intelligence. And that's what I'll say to that. I think he is very, very, very smart. So I hope you guys enjoyed this opinionated video. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.